Everyone is missing this. While the world is watching missiles and headlines, one country is quietly stacking wins that nobody is talking about, and that country is Malaysia. Before we go further, I want to try something. If this video finds you today, drop a comment right now. Just say, Malaysia Nake. I want to see how many of us are actually paying attention to what is happening to our country right now, because I genuinely think most people have no idea. After this video, you will. Assalamu alaikum and welcome. Let me tell you something that is going to reframe how you see Malaysia's position in the world. Most people think being a small country means you get pushed around. You follow the big powers, you stay quiet, you survive. But there is another way to play the game, and Malaysia has been playing it longer than most people realize. The question is not whether Malaysia is winning. The question is why you have not heard about it yet. Here is the loop I want to open right now. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly which Malaysian industries are quietly exploding, why our neutral foreign policy is now our single greatest economic asset, and what is happening to our currency and trade numbers that the mainstream media is completely ignoring. Stay with me. Let us start with the obvious thing nobody wants to say out loud. When there is conflict in the Middle East involving a major oil-producing nation like Iran, the global energy market does not just react, it restructures. Supply routes change. Buyers look for alternatives. And countries that have relationships with multiple sides of the equation suddenly become extremely valuable. Malaysia is one of those countries. Malaysia has never had a hostile relationship with Iran. We have maintained diplomatic ties. We are an OIC member. We are Muslim majority. And we are also deeply integrated with Western supply chains, with China, with ASEAN. That combination right now is not a weakness. It is a superpower. Because when buyers and sellers cannot talk to each other directly, they need a middle. And Malaysia keeps showing up as that middle. Now think about what actually happens when energy markets get disrupted. The price of oil goes up. And here is the thing people forget. Malaysia is still an oil-producing nation. Petronas does not disappear when conflict happens. Revenue goes up, the government gets more fiscal room, and that money flows somewhere. But let us go deeper than oil, because that is the obvious part. Here is where it gets interesting. Malaysia is one of the world's largest producers of palm oil. When conflict in the Middle East disrupts sunflower oil supply chains, which it does because Ukraine is already under pressure and regional instability makes everything worse, global buyers start pivoting to alternatives. Palm oil is the most traded vegetable oil on the planet, and Malaysia controls a massive share of it alongside Indonesia. When demand spikes, our export revenue spikes. This is not theory. This is supply chain economics playing out in real time. Now add semiconductors. This is the part that genuinely shocks people when they hear it. Malaysia is the 7th largest exporter of semiconductors in the world. Penang alone is sometimes called the Silicon Valley of the East, and that is not just a proud nickname. It is a reflection of real infrastructure. Intel, Infineon, Texas Instruments, Bosch, they all have significant operations here. When global supply chains get nervous, when companies start asking where their chips are coming from and whether those routes are safe, Malaysia becomes even more attractive as a stable, English-speaking, technically capable manufacturing hub that is not in anyone's crossfire. Here is a pattern interrupt for you. While everyone is debating geopolitics on social media, foreign direct investment into Malaysia's semiconductor and electrical manufacturing sectors has been growing consistently. We are not waiting for the world to settle down. We are capturing the moment while it is uncertain. Let me give you a personal lens on this. Imagine you run a business and your usual supplier suddenly becomes unreliable. Maybe their shipments are delayed. Maybe the insurance costs on their routes went through the roof. Maybe your bank is nervous about processing payments through certain corridors. What do? You find a new supplier. And if that new supplier is already qualified, already has the infrastructure, already speaks your language, and is not entangled in the conflict, you sign the contract fast. That's what is happening to Malaysia right now across multiple industries, quietly, deal by deal. Let's talk about trade routing, because this one is underrated. The Strait of Malacca is one of the most important shipping lanes in the world. About a third of global trade passes through it. When shipping companies start rerouting away from conflict zones, away from the Red Sea, away from the Persian Gulf, vessels that would normally take one path start taking another. More traffic through the Strait of Malacca means more activity in Malaysian ports. Port Klang and Penang Port are not just logistics hubs for Malaysia. They are critical nodes in a global network that just got more valuable. And here is the callback to something I said earlier about Malaysia's neutral positioning. Our ports do not discriminate by flag. Ships from the east, ships from the west, commodity carriers rerouting from disrupted corridors, they all come through. That neutrality, which sometimes gets criticized as lacking conviction, is actually an enormous commercial asset in a fragmented world. Now let us talk about something that Malaysians in the financial space are starting to notice. The ringgit has had its pressures. Everyone knows this. But look at what is happening to our export numbers. When you are exporting palm oil, rubber, semiconductors, liquefied natural gas, and refined petroleum products, and global prices for those things are elevated because of supply uncertainty, your trade balance improves. That creates real underlying support for the economy, even when currency headlines look messy. Here's the counterintuitive insight. Malaysia does not need to be a military power, a tech giant, or a cultural exporter to win in this environment. Malaysia needs to be reliable, neutral, well-connected, and resource-rich, and we are all for. Let us close the loops now. I told you I would explain which industries are quietly exploding. It is semiconductors and electronics manufacturing, palm oil and agricultural commodities, port logistics and shipping services, and energy exports. All four of these are seeing tailwinds right now because of global disruption, not in spite of it. I told you I would explain why our neutral foreign policy is our greatest economic asset. It is because, in a polarized world, the countries that refuse to fully take sides become the ones that everyone still wants to do business with. Malaysia has cultivated relationships across the West, the Middle East, China, and ASEAN for decades. That network does not vanish when tensions rise, it activates. And I told you I would show you what is happening to our trade numbers that the mainstream media ignores. Malaysia's exports in key sectors are growing. Foreign direct investment commitments, especially into Penang, Selangor, and Johor, have been hitting record levels in recent years. The Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone is becoming a magnet for companies that want to be near Singapore's financial infrastructure but inside Malaysia's cost structure. That is a strategic combination that is attracting serious money. Here's what I want you to take away from this video. The world rewards positioning, not just effort. Malaysia spent decades building infrastructure, maintaining relationships, and staying out of wars that were not ours to fight. And right now, in a moment of global volatility, that patient positioning is paying off in ways that do not always make front-page news, but absolutely show up in trade figures, investment announcements, and boardroom decisions being made in Frankfurt, Shenzhen, and Houston. Malaysia is not lucky. Malaysia is positioned. If this video changed how you see your country, do me a favor. Share it with one Malaysian who needs to hear this. Not because I am asking for numbers, but because this is the kind of perspective that should be circulating in our community instead of just negativity and complaints. We have real things to be proud of. Let us talk about them. Subscribe if you want more videos like this, breaking down global events through a Malaysian lens with facts, not just feelings. And leave a comment below. Tell me which industry surprised you most. Was it the semiconductors, the palm oil, the ports? Let me know. Malaysia is not missing this moment, and now, neither are you.